Well, today. My name is Shannon, and I'll be demonstrating for you, showing a little presentation about Cercare Medical, which is a post-processing brain perfusion solution for MR and CT. So Cercare Medical. All right, next generation perfusion solution. We like to say we go beyond the blood flow. So we are more than just your basic blood flow, blood volume maps that you get from perfusion imaging. We go into the microvasculature. We are an AI-empowered zero-click perfusion analysis and quantification for stroke, oncology, and beyond. CT and MRI post-processing solutions that include oxygen delivery, oxygen metabolism in the brain to aid clinicians in early disease detection and prediction of progression of certain diseases. We are vendor neutral, meaning we can be utilized on any scanner, Siemens, GE, Philips, you name it, we can be on it. We are also disease agnostic, meaning that we have implications in multiple neurological diseases, such in oncology, stroke, moya, traumatic brain injury, just to name a few. We are a fully automated solution that works with the current workflow. There's no disruption in your standard workflow. So whatever MR protocol you already have or CT protocol, you could utilize the perfusion with no change and no extra having to push or get in the way of the radiologist or the technologist, because techs do a lot of this too. How we make the Cercare difference. We have patented biomarker maps that nobody else is able to provide. We have these advanced patented biomarker maps for tissue oxidation and metabolism that are only available through Cercare. Fully automated processing of perfusion images from scanner to PACS with an automated DICOM series detection. Auto AIF with the manual AIF option for those physicians who love to play around and do their own thing. You can also have the option to manually set your AIF. Auto co-registration, so in the brain perfusion, for example, you can have the option to co-register with your T2 flare or your T1 pre and post contrast images. Motion correction, an auto segmentation and quantification of the infarct core and hyperperfused lesions for stroke in MR and CT. You also have the availability of the mismatch ratio and volume. These are a lot of the current applications of technology that we are found to be very helpful with our maps. So ICH, intracranial hemorrhage, tumor grading for oncology, sickle cell disease is becoming quite the research topic du jour these days. Long COVID is another one, moya for our pediatric people, our pediatric kids, brain trauma, stroke, cancer, whole range of everything that you see here and beyond. We're still finding more applications for use. So this is an example of our unique biomarker maps that are only available through Cercare. So we use a vascular model. This is patented and proprietary to Cercare only. Using the vascular model, you are able to get CTH, which helps with capillary dysfunction. OEF, oxygen extraction fraction, typically you only find that in PET MRs, not typically in MR scans, so you actually have the capability to, instead of using PET, you can use MR. We have quite a few studies going on in different hospitals in Europe where we are comparing the effectiveness of the OEF from MR to the OEF from PET. CMRO2, which is your relative cerebral metabolic rate of oxygen. COVE, LOI, R leakage. These are maps that you cannot get with any other perfusion solution. So some of our competitors will give you your basics, which look like these. These are the standard maps that everybody can provide. We also provide it in both the SPD model, which is the standard that everybody uses, or our own vascular model. So you actually have the option of what we call basic, RBF basic, and then you have the RBF from Cercare. So just as an example. This is a clinical case that's actually coming out of one of our facilities in South Korea, the Cercare Medical Center. This is a clinical evidence report of a patient who had radiation. They presented with an enhancing mass in the left frontal lobe. After imaging, we were able to see that it actually was recurrent glioblastoma as opposed to
radiation.
Yes, thank you. And my assistant. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, instead of radiation necrosis. Another clinical study we have out of Magdeburg University, which was presented just recently at our first ever Cercare Perfusion Summit. Dr. Thorman actually presented. He did a comparison study of Cercare Medical's maps with the commonly used softwares, aka our competitors. And turns out his numbers showed 64% overestimated the final infarct volume. Over 25% had false positives compared to our 0% false positive, and only 14% overestimation of the final infarct volume. We have a whole plethora of publications all throughout Europe as well. So we find that there's better correspondence with neurological symptoms with our maps. Highest or second highest importance in prediction of acute ischemic stroke, final infarct lesion, using our generalized linear model was observed using our parametric, which our vascular model, MTT parameter. Stratified glioma treatment responders and non-responders for both overall progression-free survival using our CMR02 parameter. Also was found to help describe reoccurrence of glioblastomas. Improved distinction between high-grade and low-grade glioma patients by including our CTH parameter in conjunction with the CBV parameter, as opposed to just using blood volume alone. Our OEF markers and CTF biomarker maps are found to correlate with the response to treatment of ADL patients, where observed the CTH displayed elevated values in the area of disease 6 months prior to onset. Regulatory approvals in the US, we are FDA approved for MR. Our CT has been filed. We are hoping by RSNA we will be fully CT approved. We are CE marked for CT and MR in both our stroke and neurology models. So in the US, it would be MR, stroke, and neurology. So you would get both. And that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and present to you guys and discuss a little bit about the Cercare solution. I appreciate it. Thank you, CARPL, for having me.
Thank you.